Alright, today we're going to learn how to construct parallel and perpendicular lines. This video is to instruct how to do the construction of parallel lines. And just up here at the top as a little reminder, this is the idea behind the construction. If you remember from earlier in this unit, if you have parallel lines crossed by a transversal, then corresponding angles are congruent. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a transversal connected to two parallel lines and then construct congruent angles, which we have done before. So we're going to start out, we have a line and then a point. We want to be parallel to the given line down here through the given point P. First thing you want to do is take your comptractor and kind of any way you would like to, we're going to create that transversal. So I kind of like to do it at a little bit of an angle. But all you got to do is kind of start where your line is, go through your point, and make sure you extend beyond the point that you have. The idea here, the parallel line is going to go through this point. What we're going to do is we're going to copy the angle I just created between the transversal and the given line. Alright, so I'm going to label the intersection of the transversal and the given line. I'm just going to label that A so I can use that as a reference. And we are going to copy the angle I have created here. Now, A is going to be the vertex of the angle here, and then P is going to be the vertex of the angle we're going to copy. We have done this earlier in the year, so I hope this part is review. What you want to do if you copy an angle, you're going to put the little gold piece on the vertex of your angle, and then whatever number you pick here, you need to remember it. You're going to make an arc and it needs to touch both sides of the angle. So I'm going to pick, oops, that's not going to go through. I'm going to pick the number 30 and I'm going to make an arc. Now I'm going to label those points where my arc intersected B and C just so I can reference them as I go through this with you guys. But I used the number 30 and I used A as the vertex. So as I copy the angle, what we're going to do, we're going to now slide up to P, because P is the vertex of the angle we're going to copy. And I'm going to use that same number 30. And I'm just going to try and make the arc about as big as it is, maybe a little bit bigger than the one I made down here. This would be, this point would be like B prime, and really P is the point A prime in the angle I'm copying. If you guys remember that, we call the copied points and segments and things like that with a prime. Now what we need to do is find where C would be up here. So we're going to do a little measurement. I'm going to put the gold piece on B in the original, and then I'm just going to match a hole up with C. Now in mine, if you use the same number I did, it might be pretty close. Mine looks like this is 31, 32, 33, so that looks like about 34. So that's what mine is. If yours is different, that's totally fine. Just remember what the number is. So I have the gold piece on point B, so I'm going to slide that up to B prime. Now, the hole that went through was 34, so I'm just going to make a little arc. And then where that intersects the arc we already had there, that should be C prime. And then all you need to do to create your parallel line there would connect that vertex of that angle, which is P, to C. And we have copied this angle right here and this angle right here with our construction, so they should be the same measure. And so those two lines should be parallel. Now, you guys can kind of see on mine it's just off a little bit, and if that happens while you're doing these problems, that's fine, but it should look pretty parallel. What we're going to look for in your construction, I need to see these two arcs, and I will need to see this little mark right here, the other arc where you're measuring the distance between the points B prime and C prime, or B and C in the original. And then obviously we need to have the actual line in the diagram where you connect the points P or A prime to C prime here. That's the actual parallel line. So that's what we're looking for. Alright, I'm going to slide up, and if you want to try this on your own, you're more than welcome to, but I'll just go through the construction one more time if you need to see it again. If you feel like doing it on your own for practice, then you should do that. All right, so I just need to start off and create a transversal here. So I'm going to connect, and if you want to, you're more than welcome to extend the original line they give you if you need a little bit more space. So I'll just extend that just a tiny bit. And I'm going to draw a transversal here that connects the given line to the given point. So my idea here is, I'm going to call this A, and P is really like an A prime. I'm going to copy this angle PA, and then I'm going to make an arc here real quick. So this one's kind of upside down from what I just did. So feel free if you want to. I'm going to turn the paper here a little bit, but you can move it however you want. I just need to make an arc that's going to touch both sides of that angle. So you need to put the little gold piece on A. And again, you can pick any hole that you want as long as it touches both sides of that angle. I'm just going to go ahead and use 30 again. That looks like it'll work okay. And I'm going to call these 2 points B and C. Now, I need to slide down and copy that angle. So I used the number 30 when I was doing this arc that had vertex A. So I'm going to slide to the point P or A prime, and I'm going to use 30 again and try and make my arc about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger. So this down here would be my B prime as I go down the transversal there. And what we need to figure out is where we should make a little mark here so I can connect P to this arc and then create that congruent angle. So what we're going to do, we're going to measure between B and C in the original angle that we created here. So here's B, and then in this case, slide that a little bit. C looks like it's about 32 or 33. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say 33 looks a little bit closer. So now I was on B when I measured that, so I need to go up to B prime, and then about 33, make a little mark. And where that intersects my arc, I'm going to call that C prime. And then my actual parallel line, we're going to need to connect the vertex of that angle we're trying to copy to that point. And there I've created a parallel line. Now I'm just going to turn my paper right side up so you guys can kind of see what it looks like straight on. Got kind of letters are upside down a little bit here, but what we've done, we've copied this angle to right down here. That's a set of corresponding angles. This would be your transversal, and these would be your 2 parallel lines. So I'm just doing a little arrowhead that indicates the 2 lines are parallel. What I'm looking for in your construction is I'm looking for the 2 arcs, the line here, the parallel line, and then I'll also be looking for this little construction.